Hello everyone, welcome back to the day 2 for our first project in our basic plus advanced Selenium training. Let us continue with where we left in yesterday's session. So team, a quick review of what we did yesterday. I'm going to go to my drive. I'm going to open up our folder that I created. Do note that this folder has not yet been shared with everyone because even small changes will take a lot of effort to undo. So at the end of each project, I'm going to zip the files, including all the scripts, the code, everything that we generate, and it will be attached on the video page wherever the videos are hosted. So for now, it is just a work in progress folder where I continue to create notes and so on. So yesterday, quick review, what we did is we started with the first project on the application southwest.com. We identified the application, we wrote down a few test cases, which we do manually, and then we spoke about what is automation, how is it important to identify the efficiency, reusability and accuracy, and then we went into our Selenium IDE and we did a record of the first few test cases. Correct? Now team, basic housekeeping, do not have to come back and ask where is the video. The video will always be hosted on the website. You can go directly to itelan.com. Currently you'll find it under events, Selenium Webdriver Live Training. You will also be able to see it under the online courses for Selenium once we start completing each and every project. So right now the day 1 and the orientation session video are hosted in this YouTube playlist. It is freely accessible for everyone. Second, we also sorry team, we also sent an email mentioning those two videos that I wanted everyone to watch. Now team, those two videos that I wanted you all to watch is primarily around the fact that how we do element identification. So please do watch them because that's going to be critical. A quick check team at my connection in case anyone is facing any issues. Is all the audio and everything good? Can you all see the screen as well? All right, thank you so much for the feedback. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's take a look at the other sheet that we did. What sheet is the other one? This is the test cases sheet. Oops. In the test cases sheet, what we did is we built a couple of test cases which talks about how we go to southwest.com and enter either one way or a round trip as an option, and how we go about executing that specific test case manually. And then looking at that, we created using our Selenium IDE those two test cases. Correct? So this is the test case number 2 team. What happened yesterday when I was saving it, I named them wrong, and hence I see only one test case here. This test case is fine. I'm going to try and open up the other one too. Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to do a Control A, Control C, basically copy paste, then file, open the next test case, which is the first one. I have this. Now let me say new test case and untitled. I'm going to paste all the steps. So it is as simple as a simple copy paste that you work with IDE team. From a real projects or real world work perspective, IDE is not a very critical component for you to know and for you to work with, but it is a very, very important component for you to start with. Okay, so please do remember that. Now I'm going to quickly save this test case as, instead of untitled, I'm going to call this as in the same manner. What was it? Project. I can do this. Right click, properties, paste, 2. But here, let me delete this one. Remove. Go to cache. Say OK. And save test case as into our folder. The same one. 2. Now, what we have done here, team, primarily is that we have both the test cases. Okay. I can do the execution for each test case individually, by clicking on this run icon, and it plays the current test case. Or I can execute the entire set of test cases. Right now we see 2 of them. We can add a few more out here. And once I say run the entire test suite, which is nothing but, so in simple terms, team, if I can explain, and team, like I was saying, do note that my approach is going to be very slow to begin with, because these are the fundamental concepts. Then we will build it further. So we have multiple test cases, team. Okay, 1, 2, 3 to n. All right. All of these test cases can be kept under a specific file, folder, or something called as a test suite. Okay. It is not a test step, it's a test suite. Each test case can have multiple steps, and that is fine. But all these test cases go under a test suite. What that does is it gives us the ability to run the entire test suite. Now, I can save this as save test suite as C, and let's call this as similarly project 1 IDE underscore southwest underscore test suite 1. Fair enough. And let's do a quick run to see what has happened yesterday. Yesterday, all we did is we spoke about the automation fundamentals. We spoke about how we go about doing a record of a test case, and how the what and where in terms of automation becomes important, and that what is the command, the where is the target. Today we will go a little deeper in trying to do the same thing without having to do a record. Okay, let us see if we can identify one more test case, very simple one out here, and try and implement that out here. How do we do it? Using the use of either xPath or CSS. At this point, team, how many of you have gone through the element identification videos that I've shared? Rather, how many of you have not gone? I've sent an email, team, so please watch out your email. Add us to your contact list, and all the communication is done there. In fact, I want each of you to add us to our WhatsApp, because we're also sending WhatsApp alerts. For those of you who have not gone, please do go through those 2 videos at the end of today's session after this. And we will have a little gap before day 3. I will mention when the day 3 is again through an email. What I would want you to do is watch this session. Again, go back, watch those 2 sessions on element identification that I've shared over the email. Once you get a great control, it will become easy. I will still try and make all the effort to explain everything once again. Now, what we're going to do, team, let's go back to the Southwest website and identify one more test case. Very simple as is. What we will do is we'll keep it as one way. We'll enter the from and the to, and let's say instead of 1 adult age 2 plus, I'll just say 2 adults. Okay. Now, how do we do this, and how do we do a Selenium IDE test case without doing a record? That is what will be the focus for today's session. This is going to be very interesting, team. Now, recording is done. Creating a Selenium IDE test case without having to do a recording. Fair enough. Now, for this, the first thing is create a manual test case. There is no other way, team. You have to create a manual test case before you start to automate. Manual test case has a lot of documentation. It's got a structure. It's got a specific flow. The manual test case has to be created. Then we have to convert it into automation. Next is identify all the test steps. Build the command and target through either experience that you will get it as you keep on working on this, as you look at the instructions that I give, or trial and error. And this is a fascinating thing that you will see in the world of IT, that is called trial and error. The only way I've seen all experts come up in the field of software testing or development and really go advanced is the amount of trial and error they have performed. It's all about experimenting. So we'll talk about that as well, but there should be a science methodology to it. Okay, so the test case identified. Now what is the first step? Create the manual um, test case. So I'm going to copy everything as is. Some of you have, I believe, have received the email a little late. Sorry about that. But then once you go through this session, it will become easy for you. Okay. Now I'll just call this as Southwest test case number 3. Okay. So I'm keeping it as an advanced one-way search. Everything is going to remain the same. After we enter the departure city and the arrival city, before we click on the search button, we will select one more additional step. If you notice, team, all these test cases are very similar to each other. Don't you think they're repeating? Aren't they so similar? Should we have these different sets of test cases, or can it be only one test case? Just a question to everyone. Please do interact back with me. The more you involve, the better it is for you. The biggest investment that you're doing into this program is your time and effort, team. Please remember that. So if you are active, it will definitely make you a master. All the doubts that you have as to can I learn it, will I be, will go away. Each test case is different, team. Even the slightest change is fine. I may create another very, very large test case that does all of this. But all of these test cases is just to see the different types of permutations and combinations that any user who goes to Southwest may be able to do. Southwest is a very, very large airlines company in the US, correct? I'm sure there are so many people who visit the website and use it for their daily needs. So they cannot afford to have defects in their website. That is critical for them. So if they need to test, they need to test variety of situations that the users might face. Now, I said search to adults and what is this? Okay, here is where we will get. Now, do you see, team? As I do scrolling on the sheet, the first row is getting hidden, right? One of the key things theme that will happen through this training is you're not just learning testing, automation, Selenium, Java. You're also learning a lot about documentation and how it is important for you to do it the right way. What I need to do is I need to freeze the first row. So do you see this gray line just above the number 1 on the row side? Here I'm going to drag it down one row. What this will do is it will freeze the first row at the top. Okay, so even if you scroll down vertically, you will still be able to keep that. So I know which column I am in. The second thing is you can apply filters. What filters does is it gives you the ability to choose something specific from a drop down list. So I can go to data and under data select filter. This is Google Drive, team. It is great to have some kind of an expertise on Google Drive, just like MS Office. A lot of companies are starting to use it. It is very simple. Have it on your profile as well. These are good skills, team. These are all good skills. Okay, so we have this. Now search to adults. How do we do it? We click on this passengers. Instead of one adult, two ages, age 2 plus, I'll say 2 adults. Okay, that is what we have to achieve in this. Now, select expected results. 2 adults selected. Now, when we say this, team, is it clear for you? Do we need additional test data? We don't, because we're already saying search, select 2 adults. That's what we're trying to do. So test data is not required. If you note, we have not done the verify search result for either of these steps. We have not yet come there. I don't want to complicate things at the beginning, so we will get there, but slowly. So till then, I'll just mark it with a specific color, so it is there in the back of the mind that we have not done it. All right, now how do we go about doing it? Go back to the plan. Let us not take something in a very haphazard way. We are going in a very planned structure. Identify all the test steps. Done. Build the command and target through the either experience or trial and error. Now this is going to be interesting. Let's open up IDE. Okay. New test case. Right click. New test case. Untitled. Let's go change the name. I have this first. Properties. Copy this. Go here, right click, properties. All right, so that's the name that we have given. Now I need to enter the command target value by looking at what? By looking at the test case that we have created. Can we do it? Can you all help me building it? I'm sure you will be able to give your best effort. Let's see. What is the first command that you built that the earlier test cases had? Do you all remember? What is a command? Command is the what needs to be done, the activity that we have to perform on the website. How do you know? You either know through experience or you're going to do a trial and error to figure that out. Here, do you remember, how many of you remember, team, what was the first step? Open, exactly. Open was the command. So I'm going to type open here. And as I type open, it shows me all the relevant commands through it. What you could do additionally to help you is make sure that, yeah, open is the right thing. It is going to open a specific URL. Does it require a target? Does this require a target? Let's say I don't know. My experience says that I don't remember it. I will keep it empty, no problem. What is the next step? We have to click on advanced search, correct? Click on advanced search. How do we click on advanced search? Let's see if there's a click. See, as I right click, I get click and wait, or click at and wait. Click and wait, what is the difference do you think is between click and wait? This is when we are learning, team. Our learning is really going advanced right now. Click is an activity where a user goes and clicks something in the web page. It can be a button, it can be a link, it can be an edit field, drop down list, anything, even an image. But certain times when you click, the page goes into a loading factor and it goes to a new page. Now, how long does it take for a new page to open? Even the fastest servers may take a second or two. And the click and wait command that you see is basically giving the instruction to the browser that please click and we will wait for it to happen. So click is fine. Now let's see what happens with the click and wait. Okay, now you'll see the description for it. Clicks on a link, button, checkbox, or radio button. If the click action causes a new page to load, like a link usually does, call wait for page to load. That is fine. Let's use click and wait. Now, what is the target for click and wait? What we will do, we will click and wait. Where will we click it? That is the target. How do we identify where to click it? You have to click on the link called advanced search. How do I know how to do it? This is when try and refer some of the older test cases to get some basic information. Okay. In this case, I'm showing how you learn from your experience. You don't remember, refer back, do it. Now, next time you'll remember. So let's go to the test case 2 and see. See, click and wait, link equals advanced search, right? Now, when we do another test case and we click on another link, you will understand how easy it is for you to do the same. So let's go back. Under click and wait, target is the same. Link equals advanced search. Now it has become clear, team. It is getting more into our brains as to what needs to be performed. Click and wait, and target is link equals advanced search. Okay. Now we're saying select one way. Let us assume even this I'm not sure. Select how to select one way. Okay. For a couple of them only I'm showing you how to go back and copy. For the remaining, we will do our own xPath. We'll create it and we will put it there. Fair enough? Anyone feeling what we're doing is complicated so far? I'm just going to copy this entire thing, do a control C, go back here and do a control V. See how easy it is to copy and paste the steps, just like a Word document, just like a simple Excel document. So I'm assuming, team, everyone is comfortable, no one is feeling complicated about it, correct? Anyone facing audio issue from my end? I believe no one, because otherwise there's so many participants we would have heard. So please, Pavni, Sandhya, just check at your end. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to click on ID round trip. Now, what all we have done? Go to Southwest, click on advanced search, select one way. See, similarly, this is there. This is English. This is how we write for Selenium IDE to understand. Before the end of today's session, I'll also show you the format in which it will get saved. Next, enter departure city. What may be the command to enter something into a field? Enter. No, it's not coming. Right, nothing there. What could it be? Anyone? What am I trying to do now? Is it out of experience that I'm doing? No, I'm doing a trial and error. What I'm trying to do, team, is I'm trying to make you self-sufficient in a learning process. How will you figure out? Either you go back to the previous one or try a few things. How about type? Type seems to be there. What does type do? Sets the value of an input field as though you typed it in. This seems relevant. Now let's talk about the target. Where is the target, team? The target is somewhere in this page. Correct, everyone? Which is the one? This specific field. So we've done one way. Now we've got this field. How will we select this field? Either you click on select. Oops, and it brings you that information, or for the next field, which is select the arrival city, I will type it in. Okay, type. We will write the xpath. Here I'm not going to use the select command. What I'm showing you is the different ways you can do the same thing. One we did randomly, one we did a copy paste, one second also copy paste, third one we went and we saw using select. Now let us do this type, but right now let's go about identifying. At this point, team, I want every one of you to install Firebug on your Firefox browser. So all you need to do is go to getfirebug.com or just Google Firebug. When you Google Firebug, you will get to see a very powerful add-on that you will be able to install onto your Firefox browser. As I mentioned yesterday, Firefox is the default browser for Selenium IDE. That is the only browser it supports. Once you go to WebDriver, you will notice that you don't need to stay with Firefox only. Click on install Firebug and it shall do the latest installation for you on your browser. Okay, so there's a current stable version 2.0.7. I'm gonna download this, and it's giving me the option add to Firefox directly, and it's gonna add it to Firefox. All right, everyone. So these are video based instructions. While you're watching them, you will be able to perform them also at your end. So now let us see if it has come out here. So under tools, web developer, you should be able to see Firebug. Do you see Firebug here, team? Yes, everyone. Now, what is Firebug and how does it help us? Open Firebug. Firebug lets us see the HTML code behind a web page. Let me take a diagram to explain this to you. Let's change this color a little bit. Once again, team, my approach is to go very gradually in the beginning, and as we progress, we will go into advanced topics. Right now, it's all concepts. So every web page, the background code that builds it is what technology? HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. That is the basic building block for any web-based application. That's the basic block. Now, as a software engineer team, if there is one scripting or simple thing that everyone should be aware is HTML. How would you learn HTML? You can either go to w3schools.com or there are sufficient videos within IT Learn itself for that course. So go to online courses, scroll down, and you will see the videos on HTML. Do you see this? We've got access to it. So you can watch the HTML overview videos, just basic idea. You don't have to be a master because you're not trying to be a web developer. You're not trying to become a Java programmer. So whatever is essential, we learn. Okay. Now, every HTML code is built on something called as HTML tag statement. It starts with a less than symbol and ends with a greater than. Before, right after this less than symbol, there will be a specific HTML tag that is set, and then there is a lot of details around it. All right. When Selenium needs to identify a specific element on a given web page, how does it do it? For example, come on. Oh, This has gone to the other side. Okay, there you go. Now, on our same Southwest folder, let us say that the origin airport is correct. We did a select to get it. Now let's do a find and see what happens. Can you all see something blinking in yellow? Yes or no? Can you all see something that's blinking in yellow? It is basically saying when I gave the target, IDE is able to recognize that specific object in the application. All right. Find is the command that lets us know if it is rightly identifying. But how does it identify? Let me ask you this question, team. How would you identify an object in, let's say, how do you identify a person, human being? Phone number, email address, first name, last name, social security number, or PAN number, DNA, certain ways through which you can uniquely say that I can identify the object. Every web page is built about many objects or elements, team. We will talk a lot about this as we go forward. This is the introductory class on element identification. We'll get much better at it as we keep going, team. Every web page has different objects or elements, like what? Buttons, links, images, text box, radio buttons, check boxes, and so on. Each of them can be identified using a specific set of information. Okay, what that information is and the way we identify it is called using xPath or using a CSS. What is an xPath CSS? I will show you very briefly right now, but just remember there are two ways. The two videos that I've asked you to watch actually expand this to a very, very large extent. We will focus on xPath for a session, but you also have enough details and good help on CSS that you can use for reference as and when you want. XPath is a way for us to say that every object or element that we find in the web page can be identified using some set of information in the HTML code. Now, if I right click on this from airport, right click and say inspect element with firebug. Once you have installed firebug, you will see this option in your right click on any object. What this will do is it will not only open the overall HTML file, which is a very, very large thing, but it will also go and point directly to the specific code that is linked with this specific element. Got it, everyone? It is showing the complete HTML code for the entire web page. Additionally, it is also showing the exact code for that specific element only. Now, if I go in here and make some changes, what will happen, team? So I go there and let's not worry about making changes right now because I don't even see it out here. It should be there. There you go. Origin airport. No, departure city or airport code. Where is it? No, this is under from. Oh, yeah, there you go. Departure city or airport code, right? So if you go here and I change anything, this is the one. Different options are coming in from. So I change anything out here, you'll see the changes happening in the web page as well, team. We'll come to this a little later. It doesn't make a big difference for us as of now. What is important is this code that is highlighting that specific departure city. I'm going to copy this entire thing. Copy HTML and let us open up a Word document. A simple Word document and paste it in here. Now do you see, team? This is one line of code within your HTML program. Fair enough, everyone? Everyone with me so far? All right. Now, in this, the first thing you have to identify is what is the HTML tag. The second thing is a element identifier, and third thing is element identifier value. It is like this, team. Let us say we talk about a human. Okay, for a human, the HTML tag is something like human, then name equals, let's say, Karthik. Okay, then phone equals, let's say, 272. This is how the HTML code will look for me. The first thing after the less than symbol becomes the HTML tag. So in this case, to identify Karthik, what I will do is I'll say the HTML tag is human. Identifier 1 is, I can say, name, and value is Karthik, or I can use multiple combinations of element identifier and values. I can say phone is 314-827-5272. Why is it that we are doing this? We are doing this so that we can identify Karthik. That's a human. If I have to identify that web edit field in a similar fashion, look at the similarity between this line and this line. What will be the HTML tag, element identifier, and environment value? Let's see. Here, just put it here. Actually, I can write it here itself, right? HTML tag is going to be what? Can you guess now? For Karthik, for this specific one, it is human. In this case, what will it be? Input. That is going to be your HTML tag. For the second identifier, I can see type is text. ARIA, it's ARIA actually, not even area. ARIA required is true. Autocomplete is off. ID is origin airport underscore displayed. Name is origin airport underscore displayed. Class is something. Style is something. So there are so many identifiers and there are so many values. We call this also as something called as attribute. Element identifier is nothing but an attribute and the value for that attribute. All right. Now in this case, let us consider something that could be unique for it. If I write, let's say, gender as male. If I say gender is male as an element attribute name and attribute value, will it make a difference? This is attribute name and this is attribute value. This is a very simple thing, team. So do not at all be worried if you're not able to understand. It will not get clear for you in the first round. It will take 1 or 2 repetitions. Okay. So if I use gender to identify Karthik, will it be sufficient? Yes or no? Why won't it be sufficient? Because too many people will be there who are the gender as male, correct? In this group. Is it enough to say name is Karthik? Is that sufficient? Not necessary. Even in this audience, let me quickly see if there's another person called Karthik out here. There you go. I have one Karthik out here already. So even my first name is not enough to identify the human called Karthik. So I have to use something that is uniquely identifiable. Okay, and that attribute name and attribute value, you do it through trial and error. Do not forget this. This is going to be your building block for everything to do in IT and programming. Okay, you will try something and you will find. Type being text or ARIA required true, this seem to be very generic. Let's go with ID being origin airport underscore displayed. We'll say the attribute name is ID and the value. This is ID and the value is display. Clear everyone? So far so good. 3 things: HTML tag, attribute name and attribute value. That's it, we have done. Now we have to build an xPath for it. Oops. xPath. To build an xPath team, it's very simple process. The format is this: / HTML tag open square brackets attribute underscore name equals single quotes attribute underscore value. End of single quotes, end of square brackets. That is it, team. This is the easiest way for us to identify any element in a given web-based application using this simple process. So now all I need to do is use this format or template, use this detail and write it for our origin airport. What is the HTML tag in this case? Input open square brackets. What is the attribute name? ID here equals single quote origin airport underscore displayed. End of single quote, end of square bracket. We have got the complete XPath for that. Is this correct or not? How do you know if this is correct or not? If it is working, if it's going to work for us or not? Who requires this XPath? You don't require it. You can see with your eyes. You don't even require HTML code. Who requires it? Selenium requires it. Selenium IDE requires it to be able to identify. So where are we going to put that? We're going to put it in our target for that step. I already have ID origin airport here. Now for the next one, I will repeat the same using this XPath. Now, if I say find, now after copying that XPath in here, if I say find, that specific element should blink in the application. Which one? Out here. Let us see if it does. Does it do it, team? Nothing is happening. Something is wrong. At this point, go to your log section. Under log, it will show you the results of your test runs, and if there's any issue in identifying, it says locator not found. So it is not able to locate that specific element. What do we do? The answer I know, team, for this at least, just letting you know, this is coming through experience, is the single quote format in a Word document and the one you'll type in a flat text document is going to be different. So I've changed that. I've deleted one extra space, and now let's click on find again. Still doesn't find. Input ID equals origin airport. Oh, sorry. See, this is where I missed something. And I totally forgot to put a very important thing out here called at. It's supposed to be at attribute name equals so and so. When I wrote it very flat, very straight. But when I put it and it did not work, then I went into thinking, why didn't it work? That is when I realized I missed something, and that is an at symbol out here. Now go back and put that at here in the IDE as well. Sorry, here at ID equals so and so. Now click on find again. Now do you see, Tim? This is the XPath. The same step here, the same step here. Let us say in this step, the value that I will put is DFW. That's the value. In this step, I'll put the value as, let us say, SJC, San Jose. Okay. And we have done a few steps. Can we run till here and test it to see if it's working? If it is working, then we will know that what we have done so far is correct. Always, when you trying to write code, team, you remember I showed it even in the orientation session, the 4 steps through which you will be able to really build expertise. I'll quickly show if I can that one. Here, build the command target. Do a dry run, or we can also call it as a trial run for every few steps. You don't want to write the entire program or the entire Selenium IDE code and then try and test it, because any issue then you'll have to go back and keep fixing it. So just a small one, we're going to try and see. So is it going to southwest.com? Very well, it did. Now will it click on link is called advanced search? It did. I'm making it slow and I just did the test case run, team. The firebug is open, that's why the view is not very clear, but looks like the execution is done. Let's close this firebug and see. So see, it's typing. So it worked for DFW, it worked for SJC as well. Makes sense, everyone? Now help me build the XPath for the to city. I showed you, now you've got some experience. Let's do a little trial and error. If see, we can do it. What is the first step to write your XPath, team? What are the steps to write our XPath? Where is the document? I'm going to write it down so it's there for us as notes as well that you can refer to later. All this are very essential, team. None of this is that you can ignore and say, hey, it's okay. Let's skip. Let's go straight to WebDriver. Please focus on the process that becomes very, very critical. So bear with me, please. Patiently, the doc is opening up so I can write down. how we go about identifying the XPath. How to identify XPath of what? Of any element. Why is it disconnecting from Google Drive? This is strange. None of you are facing any issues in hearing or seeing my visual, correct? I'll come to some of these questions, team. I'm seeing some very good relevant questions coming up. I will answer them, but keep them towards the end. Most of the answers may be coming. No problem here. Okay. How to identify XPath? It's not happening here. Let's put it in the word, then we'll take it. Okay. How to identify XPath. Now I showed it. Let's practically I've showed it as one example. Let us write it as theoretical notes. Then we will come back to redo it for the next element, next two elements. First thing first, team, what do you do? Right click. Remember, all of you? Right click on the element. Correct? Second, select, what was that? Inspect element with firebug. Select inspect element with firebug. Correct? Then copy the entire HTML code for that element only, not the entire dozens of lines of code in the or dozens of pages in the HTML. Then paste it into a notepad or Word or any text editor. Okay. After that, get the HTML tag, unique attribute name and value. Build the XPath in the structure of this. Now, is this the easiest or only way we will do XPath? No. As the situations arise, we will be using different ways of doing XPath in terms of what if too many attributes with the same thing, what if duplicate elements, what if some of these elements properties are changing. All of those cases we'll be able to understand as we keep going on. Okay. Copy and paste the XPath into where? Into the target field of Selenium IDE. Test it by using the find button next to target. All right. This is how we do it. What if it doesn't work? If it doesn't work, try different attributes, combinations of them, and other techniques. So these techniques, we will not do it overnight. We will develop this over a period of time. Let me add XPath into XPath is there. Okay. Everyone with me, team? This is correct. Did I miss any step from what we did? Right. Thank you. See, that's a good point. See the log for error. If it doesn't work, see the log. Okay. If it doesn't work, this is what we will do. We will do a few other things. See the log for error. Make sure the element is blinking in yellow in the application and the test. Make sure the single quotes and the XPath format is correct. Try different, then finally try different attributes combination. So you have multiple things. With these steps, I think we'll be able to happily be able to figure out how to take care of XPath team. Now this is theory. We saw it once as practical. You will practice on it, build experience. You'll get very good at it. Everyone with me on that? Cool. Now let me paste it here. There we go. This one. I'll do the cleaning up a little later, team. because the bullets from there have come up out here this way. Now let's do it for the second element. This is going to be interesting and exciting. So we have the web page here. We're going to try and follow the same process that we have in the Word doc and do it. So what's the first thing? Right click, inspect element with firebug. We've got the entire HTML code. I'm going to copy it. Select and copy. Go to your Word doc or any other documentation for that matter and paste it in here. So we've come till this section. Now get the HTML tag. What is the HTML tag for this, everyone? / that is the format. HTML tag is again input, and let us say this time we use a different attribute. Let's try with @name is the attribute name. Value is whatever we get here. This is the value for it. End of your square brackets. Copy it. Put it for the next step. The command is still going to be type, and target is going to be this. Will it work? Yes or no? Will it work when I click on find? Yes or no? It won't work. Why it won't work? It will work. Why will it work? Now let's say find. Does it do it? No. What should I do then? Go to log and see if it is throwing any error. Yes, error, locator not found. Once more find. Again, locator not found. New step generated. So here, first delete this space. There's an additional space. Now let's say find. Does it work? No. This quotes, as I said, the single quotes that we get from Word document is going to be different formats. So delete this, please. This is through experienced team. Now you can take it as an advice and keep that in the back of the mind. All right. Now it's able to find. Very good. Let's enter some destination city. Let's say EWR. All right. Now what's the next command? I want to select passengers. To select passengers, how do I do it? I don't know, team. Let us say I don't have an idea. Let me try something out here. Select. There's select and wait. Select frame, select pop-up, select so and so. Right. So let's try select. Target. Target is the same XPath. Let us hope that the select is correct. Let's see if it is true. Select an option from a drop down using an option locator. Very nice. Now, is this a drop down, everyone? What is a drop down? You click on it, it will show you multiple options as a drop down. It is not drop up, right? It is not going up, it is coming down. This is a drop down menu or drop down element, okay? Which is nothing but also a list that we call within HTML. Now, the command looks to be relevant to what we want. I'm looking at the reference right now. Target, can you all help me with it? First step, right click, then inspect element with firebug. So it does not matter if it's an edit field, it does not matter if it's a drop down, it does not matter if it's an image, it's the same process. Did we get the entire code for it? Yes, let's copy it. Now, let us go back to Word. The reason I'm using Word is so that this is good big font for you to see very clearly, and it will become easy for you to try. Now, HTML tag is input, open square brackets, at, let's say, size equals 1. I'm just experimenting. Let's see. Why not? Is this correct XPath, everyone? Is this the correct XPath or not? I don't know. Let's see. Control V. I know the single quotes through experience, which is yours and mine now. Single quote has to be changed, and let's click on find. Is it finding? I don't know. Let's go to log. It doesn't seem to be finding. What could have gone wrong? Let's look at it. I must have done something wrong here, right? Is the HTML tag correct? Oh no, it's not input. It is select. Right? Now let's try. So here I will directly change this word to select. And find. Is it finding? It seems to be finding, but it is not showing up here. I don't care what it shows. I want it to show this specific drop down list. I don't care about anything else. maybe size equals 1 is too common. It is like saying that age is 30 in this group. How many people of you will be 30? I'm sure there'll be at least 10 of you will be in that age group of 30, right? So it is not sufficient to identify a human. It is not, this is not sufficient to identify a web element. Now what we will do is we'll try one more. Let's go with name being adult passenger count. Okay, so the attribute name size, we will change it to name or ID, either way. Let's try with name, and the value is adult passenger count. Where is that app? Here, and click on find. Now does it find the one we want, everyone? Does it find? In this, what is it that we want? We want two adults. The shape is changing, team, don't worry about it. It's just because of the firebug that is doing it. Two adults. So I'll write here two adults. Now let us test this code, team. We have written it still here. Unless you test it, you're not confident about it. So now we're executing it slowly. So it's going to open. Why did it still go to open without a target? Because that slash that we gave is actually optional, team. Especially when you go into WebDriver, it will become easy for you to understand that open command is fine, target is not essential. Click and wait, you don't need a value. Click, you don't need a value. For San Jose, entering SJC or EWR, you definitely need a value. The origin airport and the destination airport. Now, did it select the adult passenger? Did it do what we wanted it to do, team? Yes or no? That is a very, very important activity, team. You do something as automation, but you have to be very keen observer to see did it follow the instructions. That is critical. Did it do it? Yes or no? Yes, it did it, right? So great. Now this has happened and we can click on search. But before I click on search, let's try one more for senior. Same thing, just for practice sake. Now see, by experience we know it's select. How did we do it? We initially did it by trial and error. Now it has become an experience for us. I'm going to right click. See, the speed is going to increase. Inspect element with firebug. Copy. See. Paste. I'm doing it here so that it's easy for you to see, team. So everything is the same, only senior passenger count is different. So easy way out for me is copy this whole step, paste it here, go to this, and here I will just change it to from this to senior passenger count, from adult passenger count to senior passenger count. Now let's make sure we find it, kill the firebug. Okay, perfect, it found it. Now let us rerun this test a little faster. I don't think we need to run it this slow. So we're going to rerun this test case faster. The test suite we're not running, team. I'm just running the test case. If I click on this, then it will become the test suite. Got an error. Let's see what happens when it throws an error. Okay, team, I'm ready for question and answer. You can use the Facebook page or you can do it here. Your call. I'll be either way able to answer. Verbally, at least, I should be able to start to answer the questions. Then we will take it through the Q&A. Just a quick audio check because I'm not sure why the page didn't load. So I want to make sure that you all can hear me. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, great. Thank you. Right now, we're using the simplest format of xPath. As we go along, we will do more. Now see, team, this test case, if you look at the log, it will say that the test case overall has failed. Why? So far, we never saw the commands out here. Now we're able to see the commands. So in red, that is basically saying that your command is failing. Green means it worked successfully. Anything in red means it's failing. All right. Now we know that something has happened. We will go and try and fix it. We will try and rerun it. This happened because the page did not load correctly. For some reason, the network failed. That is the only reason. Now, I'm going to quickly log into my Facebook page to make sure that you all are able to start asking questions in there. It's one. one section for everyone to be able to do it, that'll be easy then for you also to watch, because right now you're not able to watch the questions Q&As from others, right? I'm going to put this link even in the chat. I did put it already. Okay, there you go. Once again in the chat team, you all have it in front of you. All right. So any questions, do adding it here as much as you can. What I'll do is I'll be able to start answering. Yeah, so Srinivas, if there's recording issue, then yeah, there'll be problem. Where can we find the recording for today's session? I will show it. I will answer it in there. In today's sessions, you haven't given what URL should be opened in IDE, but Selenium directly opens southwest.com. How is it possible? The way it happens, Swapna, is the fact that it did not care about where it is. Now, if I have to go to, for example, a routes page, okay, you will see that it is southwest.com/slide/so-and-so. Now, if I wanted to directly go here, then I should go into Selenium IDE, okay, and put that in the target. Now it will go to southwest.com/this link. Do you understand? If it is going to the main page only, I don't have to put anything. That is the reason it is optional. Okay. I'm starting to take questions, team, because we are almost towards the end of day 2. We will complete this specific test case in the next day 3, and by day 4 we'll be able to be done with our first project. Then we will get into our WebDriver. Okay. I'm unable to access session 5 video from the mail you sent yesterday. It is protected. Yes, because it is only for premium members. Please read your emails carefully. Every word is important. It's disconnecting for me very slowly. Videos coming slowly. No link for joining. It should be mentioned clearly. How do I have to mention the link for joining it, guys? You are professionals. How can you ask such questions when you know that at the top you have the links for everything? And we've been sending emails one after the other. We've been communicating with you. You've got to keep communication at the top priority, please. Look at instructions, because all this information is being provided to you. All right. Getting audio disturbance from your side. Can we keep the communication relevant to technical questions out here, please, instead of such random thoughts? Can the premium members, that's irrelevant for the session, I'll take it later. I have taken QTP training from you. This is also not relevant. I don't see any other questions which are relevant to today's sessions. Let me try and refresh this once again. How can we decide which attribute to be used in xPath? Good question. So what I'll do for this is, Ashwinder, I will answer it and I'll also put it here. 1, you use the attribute ID or name if available. Okay. 2, if it does not work, then add different combos of attribute. All right, that way you're able to do. Keep the trial and error till you zero down on the one that works. All right. Can you please show very quickly how to download Selenium IDE, because it seems Selenium IDE taken away from the website. That's interesting. Let's see. I go to seleniumhq.org, and you have download Selenium here. This should be mostly with this, or Selenium IDE is here. Yeah, it's there, right? Just go to Selenium IDE plugins. Is this not downloading it? This is Selenium standalone server, IE driver server, Selenium client. Yeah, it should be where? Somewhere. Why is it? It's a complete IDE. Download previous releases. IDE. Did someone do it very recently, team? Where, Himanshu? Okay, I scroll further down in here. There you go. Selenium IDE. Download latest version 2.9.2. So copy link address and I put it here. Comment. Alright, so that's the link for it. You can take it from there. Thank you guys. Which method of IDE test case development is better? Is it record test case or without recording? Definitely without recording. You need to be in control of your automation as you are the master and Selenium the disciple. Okay, so you want to give instructions to it. Exactly. So there's a lot of customizations that we do accordingly. All right. What else, teams? Any other questions that I can answer for today's session? And let the questions come in the same manner like the ones I've answered, to relevant to what we have done so far. Okay, not out of what we're doing, because that we will try and answer offline, everyone. Does all the xPath follow the same pattern that you just showed in any web page? Yes, it does. Team, I'm trying to give priority for the questions which are coming here, and any questions that I have not answered, I will do it offline after the session. And once that is done, I'll see if any questions are there in the Q&A section also and answer them. For those of you who are getting late, you are welcome to leave, and the recording will be shared. Please keep your emails and our phone number in contact list. That way we can also send you WhatsApp alert. Nowadays, Selenium WebDriver is used for automating smartphones as well. Will you show anything related to smartphone automation? Not relevant to what we have done so far, and not part of this. We are coming up with something on APM very soon. That will be a separate training by a separate trainer very soon. Why do you create a command for origin airport with DFW as value? So command was type, target was for origin airport, the value was DFW, just one destination airport. That's it. What is Selenium WebDriver for autofill text box? There is the question looks to be broken somewhere. There's nothing called what is Selenium WebDriver for autofill text box. Is it what is the xPath for it? So Selenium download I did. Here's my first day and I have some questions. Bowie, why don't you use the Facebook page to put them? I can continue to answer them offline. We've also prepared a 41 or 50 most frequently asked questions, which we have termed as SAQ, should ask questions, and that we will share with everyone through an email sometime today. So you will get that along with the instructions for day 3 team. If we didn't mention the web page, it will go to a different web page, right? Yeah. So where is the web page mentioned? Southwest. Can you all note? It is mentioned here. So if I write instead of Southwest, let's say I write virginamerica.com, it will go to Virgin America, but it will not find advanced search or any of this. It will throw an error. All right. Let's see a few more questions that I'm going to quickly take, team, and then we can end up with today's session. Can you please show which 2 videos? Check your email, please. I downloaded here from here. Okay. Okay, thank you. I've got there. I'm checking the GoToMeeting chat window itself. If there's any question not answered, let me know. Sure, Bobby, anything with training related, just wait for the FAQ document, or you can contact the sales team at learn@itlearn.com. Either way is fine, but just check on that, please. We will definitely try and send the email early today, because the challenge is sometimes the videos have to be converted, uploaded, embedded into the page, then the link will come. That's the reason. We did not change the value for passenger field in IDE. Okay, let's see, maybe because we have not yet completed with this test case, we are in between. I wanted to keep it this way. The reason I wanted to is so that you will see an issue coming up. Let us see if we can rerun this test once and see what the issue will be. I deliberately did that, team, but let's see if we can get that popping. So the test case is right now executing, if you see it very quickly. And team, one uh, comment that I want to give, the reason I start the session 5 minutes late is a lot of people, though they come on time, for them to connect it to go to meeting, audio and everything getting set, sometimes is a challenge. That's why I give that spare 4 minutes, 5 minutes before I start. And after that, and sometimes the sessions go long, the intent will be to try and cut down the amount of time we take. So we should try and put it within the 60 minutes itself. Okay, so there you go. The last step failed because I said two adults. Two adults is incorrect. There is no value here called two adults. The same, I change it to one senior now, and we do it again. You will see, you will note that it will work better. Okay, so I'm gonna increase the speed of it so that it doesn't go too slow, and you will see how quickly it will be able to do it. All right, team, almost towards the end of the event for today. I'll meet you on day 3. The day for day 3, the SAQ document, the next steps, the video link, the videos that I want you to watch, all of those I will mention it when we go along. Okay. So this seems to have worked. There are some empty rows here which we don't need, which we can delete, which is causing the issue. Otherwise, all the steps have worked in green. So this is a decent run for us. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And I appreciate all your patience through the session, day 1, day 2, and orientation. Do watch them. I will give sufficient time for you to brush up yourself and be prepared for day 3. Most probably, day 3 is going to be coming Monday. All right. So I will communicate to everyone so that you know how to plan yourself accordingly. Then we will go in a very rigorous manner from there. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I'll see you back on day 3. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you all. Bye then.